Hello friends, let us proceed with a simple, loose imaginary landscapes, taking decisions as we progress. The idea here is to challenge ourselves, forcing us to take decisions on the way, thus giving exercise to our creative part of brain. I think this will help us improve our imaginative and creative abilities. So without further delay, let us begin. I am taking a cold pressed watercolor paper 300 GSM. It's an Indian handmade paper. You can take any cold pressed 100% cotton watercolor paper for this particular task, for this particular painting project. Okay, so I'm mixing a little bit of cerulean blue and a touch of burnt umber and a touch of crimson so that it comes like a grayish kind of a grayish bluish kind of a color, maybe slightly purplish, but it is not very strongly purplish. You can say that it is a grayish blue, and the idea is to do a flat brush throughout the flat wash throughout the paper. And I think this kind of a tone and this kind of a color will create a kind of a rainy mood, rainy atmosphere to the painting. I'm doing this so that I don't get any kind of a sharp white on the paper and create a sort of an atmosphere for rainy season. Okay, so this will you may have to note that this particular part that we did can make the painting look little dull because the color that we apply further may not be staying very strong. Okay, so now I am planning to do a wet on wet subtle clouds. Since the paper was little bit dry now, I have sprayed little bit of water and I am mixing a similar color whatever we did earlier, mix of cerulean blue and burnt umber and a tiny touch of crimson. And I'm making some kind of a suggestions for clouds. Okay, and I'm using a medium size mop brush for this, and the paper is wet, and I have kept the paper at an angle of around 30 degree so that the gravity advantage of gravity can be taken to our benefit. Okay, here I'm making some kind of a tonal variation, subtle tonal variation, and these tonal variations, the darks and lights, it will dry very lighter and it may look very subtle when the painting gets dried. It may vary based on the paper, based on the painting, the paint, brand of paint, etc. But it will dry lighter. Okay, that is the overall idea. Kind of create a slightly engaged sky. And you can pay attention to the overall perspective of clouds. The clouds will be sort of bigger at the top and it will become narrow at the around the horizon. So that is the general perspective of clouds. You can consider that while suggesting these clouds. And as we come towards the horizon, I am slightly adding tiny bit of green and blue, maybe a touch of red also to make it slightly darker, to kind of merge little bit of greenery around the horizon. So it is not very clear where the greenery begins and where the sky ends. Okay, that is the kind of idea, to make it loose and little bit of a kind of a mystery there. So we don't have a clear edge of the sky and the land. Little bit of green and yellows to make it slightly more prominent land as we come down. And the size of the paper that I have taken is around quarter sheet. Okay, it is a quarter sheet paper. And on the ground also we are giving some tonal and color variation, slightly a bit And as I was telling, this will be very light painting. It will not be a very, very vibrant kind of a color scheme. So if you want vibrant color scheme, you can take vibrant colors. You can avoid the initial flat wash approach, and yeah, you can make it vibrant if you want. My idea is to make it very kind of subtle on colors and the overall atmosphere. Actually, now I am thinking that I will have to make the central portion as more interesting. So I'm spraying some water at the bottom to diffuse the bottom area a little bit. My idea is that I will make the middle portion of this painting as little interesting, and anything at the top, anything at the bottom, I want to diffuse. So sprinkling little bit of water, and some slightly opaque touches, like mixing white, blue, and crimson to make it sort of a opaque lavender kind of a color, and splattering some color. So that will create some texture. Okay, play with it, and please don't try to control it, because I don't think you may be able to control. At least I'm not able to control. So I'm just splattering it and let something happen. Okay, this may kind of give a suggestion that there are some kind of a grass or something at the very bottom area in a very diffused way. And I'm making some touches of dark green, blue mix. And this area is still wet because we have sprayed water there. And these, whatever marks that we are making now, they will kind of spread little bit and they will appear little diffused. That is the idea. So that that area looks little engaged while being diffused. The contrast is not there, but it may look little engaged. That is what I am targeting for. And let this be completely dry before we proceed. Now, what we have to do? So I'm thinking to make a kind of a big tree somewhere. So where to make, maybe here, I think. Yeah. I'm using a Chinese calligraphy brush, and I'm using the side of it. Probably I will be using the side of it to create some random uncontrolled foliages. Okay, some edge leaves with the tip of it, and some random shapes with the side of it. It's a medium size or maybe small size Chinese calligraphy brush, but you don't necessarily need to have this Chinese calligraphy brush for this. You can use any soft round brush that you have for this purpose. I usually just pick whatever brush that I see in front of me that can suit the targeted brushworks. Okay, just some random brushworks. I'm not making it very precise, and if you want to make it very precise, you can take a reference of a tree, and you can you can take time and create it more accurately. Just some random sort of brush marks, and we have to respect while making these random brushworks. You have to always keep an eye to the overall shape of the foliage. It should look like shape of the tree foliage. Okay, maybe make some darker tones by mixing Payne's gray and a little bit of red, and using the same calligraphy brush, let us make some branches. Okay, I didn't make any pencil drawing for this. If you are not confident of directly painting with brush, directly drawing with brush, you can always make a pencil drawing first and then paint on top of it. Okay. But I would encourage you to go bold and try to paint it directly, so that you will gain confidence and your brushworks will become bold as we continue the practices. Okay. Right, I think we are getting closer to the finishing of this particular tree. And we could make lot many other trees also, but I may not be making more trees nearby. We have to start thinking of what we should do at this central area. Now, since there is a big tree here, I am just suggesting some kind of a shadow because this is in the foreground. And I don't want too much of a sharp shadows here because the bottom area we have already diffused by spraying water. So I'm spraying water for the shadow area also so that it kinds of mixes with the overall texture at the bottom. Okay. Some kind of splattering of water on the foliages so that they little loose. You can see that it has already turned light. The sky area, the far end area, everything is already light. Some of these edges I don't like. I am smudging it with my finger. Be bold and be free to do all these experiments. Okay. At this point, I am finding some white gaps in between our washes. So I'm making some shadow beneath it so that they may look like some kind of a house or something, some structure at the far end. Okay. And these whites, I'm trying to take advantage of this, and I'm adding some shadows beneath it so that these whites are a little bit more prominent. I have cropped the overall video so that you can pay attention to the central area where we are painting now. I have taken even smaller brush and I am suggesting some tiny trees around those houses. At some places I am using the side of the brush, and some places I am using the tip of the brush. Wherever I need little bit of precise lines, I am using the tip of the brush, and wherever I am looking for uncontrolled foliages, I am using the side of the brush. So these are some techniques that you can use for your trees, your landscapes. Okay. These are some sort of connected shapes suggesting some group of bunches of trees far end. Okay. Some kind of shadows maybe. Be free to smudge, okay? And you have to be aware of your finger. You need to clean your finger later before eating something, right? I think overall it makes sense now. The far end, so far end in the sense around the horizon, they look little engaging, and I think we can take benefit of that area now to make it little bit more interesting. To make that area a little bit more interesting, let me make a larger shadow towards the bottom. Okay, somewhere here, maybe larger shadow, so that area looks connected to the foreground. So there should be some kind of synergy in overall elements, the arrangement of elements. So this kinds of connects the tree, the faraway tree, nearby tree. Everything is now getting connected by this kind of shadow, and it also makes kind of directional indication and takes the viewer's eye to the horizon. Some splattering of darker tones here and there to create some texture or interest. That's it. Some vertical elements can always connect the land to the sky, and it will also make it a little bit more interesting. Right. Now I am trying to paint some orange color for some of the roofs of those houses so that they all doesn't look the roofs look slightly different. Okay, and it will also give some color contrast, some tone contrast. So this is very warm kind of a color, and those greens are little cool, so there is a kind of a color temperature contrast and little bit of a highlight using whites. Okay, the white is Chinese white watercolors picked up directly from the tube. Okay, if you have any questions on the colors that I use, anything on the materials or any specific questions on my approach, please do write them into the comment box below. I'll be happy to answer as early as possible. Now let us make some figures. The figures are somewhere closer to us, and this is just to create some additional interest, okay? And these are not very perfect figures, these are just kind of some suggestions. And I am using a small round brush for this, and I am using the tip to get some precision brush marks. So if you are not very confident of making these figures directly, you can draw it first and then paint it. And if you still have some confusion, you can go through some of my figures tutorial. There is a playlist for painting suggestive figures, and I will put the link for the playlist in the description below. Okay, and there are some kind of color variations within those tiny figures, and the skin tones are suggested by orange color, okay, picked up directly from the tube. And I think overall these are looking good. Okay, the figures are looking good, and I don't want to do a lot of things now to make the painting crowded. So I'm deciding to sort of finish it by adding some highlights using some thick white color, some highlights for those prominent elements. So if you think that this is useful, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell notification. And if you have any questions or comments, and please write them into the comment box below. I think we are done, and let us sign it and take out the tape. Right, so I have taken out the tape, and this is the final image that that we got. I think that it is reasonably interesting, and I hope you enjoyed the painting process. And if you have any question or suggestions, comments, as I told, please write them into the comment box below. If you think this was helping you, please consider subscribing to my channel and pressing that bell notification icon so that you get notified for all my future videos. And you may please consider sharing this to your artist friends so that they also can take benefit of this course. And I also get a little bit of benefit that my video reaches to a wider audience. So thank you so much for watching this video. We will soon meet you with another interesting tutorial, and happy painting until then. Bye bye.